A warm greeting. And on my personal behalf as the convener of this webinar. For quite long time, I have been receiving the request from different corners of my friend circle, from teaching fraternity, salaried employees in government, public, and private sector, and even students to educate them as to how to be financially secure in future, especially after retirement, how to absorb likely financial shocks, how to accomplish some tasks involving sizable finances, such as meeting children's higher education expenses, purchasing homes, etc., how to manage small savings, how to decide proportion of funds to invest in various investment avenues, such as real estate, gold, government bonds, RBI bonds, corporate bonds, fixed deposits, bank and post office saving schemes, PPF, NPS, mutual funds, securities and shares through primary and secondary market, etc. As the number of available avenues are more, a common person comes across a lot of confusion as to where to park his or her hard-earned money. Amidst this confusion, he or she ultimately either does no investment and keep on spending, or makes a wrong decision due to lack of knowledge or sometimes poor advices. I was seriously looking for somebody who is really capable of educating we all on such pertinent issues concerning personal finances. My search did find a decisive halt when one of the affectionate professor associated with another central university suggested me to hold such a program through Association of Mutual Funds of India, AMFI. Having convinced with his recommendations, I approached the representatives of AMFI and shared my intention. I received very positive and encouraging responses from them and finalized to hold a webinar. This is how this webinar was conceptualized and being organized jointly by the Department of Business Studies, Central University of Karnataka, and Association of Mutual Funds of India, AMFI, on the title Financial Empowerment Through Wealth Creation. We received very enthusiastic, warm responses from participants. I am happy to announce that over 1,100 participants registered for the webinar. I am highly obliged that experts in this area like Shri P.K. Nagpal, former Executive Director SEBI, and Shri Suryakant Sharma from AMFI accepted our request and are with us to deliberate on wide range of issues concerning financial empowerment, personal finances, personal financial management, and wealth creation, etc. I am sure that after listening to them, the financial literacy and financial skills of the participants of this webinar will be significantly augmented, which will ultimately lead to more joy, satisfaction, and pride concerning their finances. It will not only make them happy, but cause prosperity to their families and society at large. My sincere thanks to the chief guests, guest of honor, keynote speakers, and participants. I hope that participants will make best use of the presence of such eminent personalities by listening to them and also raising their queries at the end of the talk.
You can plan for investment, no?
Having a pleasant participation in the webinar and have a good day. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Zahir. That was really very nice to know the intent and content of what the seminar is going to be. I now request Dr. Ganapati to introduce our Vice Chancellor, Professor M.B. Alagwadi, to the audience. Dr. Ganapati, sir, over to you.
Good morning, madam, and good morning to all dignitaries in the seminar and all the participants. It's a privilege to introduce our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor M.V. Alagwadi. Sir is from Indian Administrative Service and served 2 decades in the Department of Social Justice and Empowerment, Ministry of Defense. After that, he moved to CDOC, Center for Entrepreneurship Development, Karnataka, Dharwad, as a director, and he served there for as a director for entrepreneurship development in the Karnataka. Then he joined Central University of Karnataka a decade ago as a professor, and he has built the Department of Business Studies and even School of Business Studies. He was also a dean of School of Business Studies. He is a member of so many selection committees, school boards, board of studies, and he was in various committees at university level and inter-university levels, and he has served as an in-charge registrar of CUK, and presently he is the Vice Chancellor of Central University of Karnataka. So there is, he has some books in credit and seminar, conference, publications. His biodata is of a 10 page. So due to the paucity of time, okay, with this introduction, so I thank once again for giving me opportunity to introduce our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor M.V. Alagwadi. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, Dr. Ganapati. With Professor M.V. Alagwadi as the head of the department, dean of the school, and now as the Vice Chancellor of the UK, we have seen a different phase of the administration. So we are very happy and proud that we are your colleagues, and we have so many opportunities to learn from your experiences and from your learnings. I now request you, sir, to please address the audience. Over to you, Professor M.V. Alagwadi, sir.
Yeah, good morning. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Once again, good morning to every one of you. Sri P.K. Nagpal, former Executive Director, SEBI, Sri Suryakant Sharma, former DGMS, and currently he is a Senior Consultant Association of Mutual Fund of India, who is going to be a keynote speaker today. Professor Tonur, Registrar of the University, Dean of the School of Business Studies, Professor Pushpa Saudati, convener of this seminar, Dr. Mohammad Joher, and my colleagues, Dr. Ganapati, Dr. Safia and Shushma, and my dear research scholars, friends who have joined this webinar today. This is a very important topic, a very, very important topic from the, and title is also financial empowerment through wealth creation. In fact, if you see total household investment in India is less than 5% in equities and equity related investment instruments. That itself shows that the penetration of equity or capital market is still low compared to many other developed countries. And why it is so important, wealth creation through mutual funds, because majority of investors, even educated investors, educated people are scared of investing into equities. For simple reason is they perceive that it is a very high risk investment. Yes, in short term, investing in equities through mutual fund or directly is very high risk because markets are subject to volatility, and especially since liberalization policies, when the capital markets have been integrated globally, the volatility is very high because any event anywhere in the corner of the world affects all stock markets. But despite all these scams, all these failures of one or other adversely affecting capital markets, if you see the investment returns for a period of say 10 years or above, the highest return comes from equities. as asset class. Traditionally, Indians prefer to invest in real estate, gold, and bank FDs or government backed security like national savings certificates, etc. But now, because of changes in the capital market and a well-regulated capital market, and SEBI has come into picture, and Association of Mutual Funds of India is a body which mainly tasked to set professional standards, ethical standards to govern the asset management companies and mutual funds. So their main focus is to protect the interest of the investors. As we have seen that over a period of medium to long term, it is worth investing some portion of their investment into equity asset class. And here the mutual funds play a great role, because majority of us, even if we have a knowledge, we don't have time to analyze the macro, micro factors and decide which company we have to invest, which company we have to get out. All those, even if one has a knowledge, it doesn't have a time, and majority of us don't have a knowledge. In that case, we need a professional help, and that help these mutual funds are serving to investors as a group of investing class, because mutual funds are managed by very well appointed, trained managers who have a very thorough professional knowledge, skill sets, and they are controlled by a board of trustees, and in turn SEBI is a regulator, and Association of Mutual Fund of India is also protecting the investors' interest. So this is a great opportunity for investors to root their investment through mutual fund and reap a long-term benefits. Like mutual funds are catering to your all kinds of financial goal, short-term, medium, and long-term. And all that you have to do is to just go decide which mutual fund you want to invest. Of course, as an investor here, you need to have some knowledge in terms of which asset management company is doing pretty good, maybe in last 5 years, last 10 years, you can see the performance. And all that is available, this information through Association Mutual Fund of India, as well as SEBI, or even analysis by various financial analysts. This data is available. Once you decide, then you have to just establish your SIP and just relax. They will take care. Okay, this is a huge opportunity for investors as a class to divert some portion of their investment towards equities, or if you want a balanced fund where partly equity, partly debt, all kinds of mutual funds are available to meet your financial goals. So I hope today's webinar will emphasize the importance of mutual fund investment as a very important investment avenue to meet financial goals. If that is achieved, I think it is a great success. I'm sure speakers are quite experienced in the industry. Their talk and address would really help participant to realize the importance of investment into equities through mutual funds. With this, I wish all the best, and I thank the speakers, especially PK Nagpal and Suryakant Sharma, for having agreed to our request. And I thank once again the organizers of this important webinar. Thank you, one and all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Those were quite inspiring words, and especially from a very, very intelligent investor himself. So Professor Alagwadi is always treated to be a champ in this sector. Thank you so much for the words that you have just now shared with us. Professor Pushpa M. Savdati, the Dean of School of Business Studies, is an economist and is ever treated to be a very, very systematic lady. In fact, working with her is an opportunity for us and a pride for all of us to learn from her experiences as well. I now request you, ma'am, to please address the audience.
Good morning to all. Thank you, Dr. Safia, for inviting me to share a few of my views. Professor M.V. Alagwadi, Chief Guest of today's function and Honorable Vice Chancellor of our university. Professor P.K. Nagpal, Chief Guest, and former Executive Director, SEBI, and guest of another keynote speaker, Sri Suryakant Sharma, Senior Consultant, Mutual Funds. Then Dr. Basavaraj Donur, Registrar, Central University of Karnataka. Dr. Zoher, Coordinator, Department of Business Studies. My dear students, colleagues, and other invitees. At the outset, I thank Dr. Joher for giving me an opportunity to speak a few words. And also, I want to congratulate Dr. Joher and his team from the Department of Business Studies for organizing such a wonderful webinar on financial empowerment through wealth creation, which is very essential nowadays, especially for our teachers and students. And as we all know that investment is a component of aggregate demand. And you know that for sustainable economic growth, we need aggregate demand. So always, if there is an increase in investment, it will help to boost the aggregate demand and in turn boost the economic growth. And as we all know, in the mutual funds are most popular investment choices. And especially mutual funds act as an investment tool for small investors like me and you all, especially teachers and students and other government employees. It has been very popular to invest in mutual funds because of its many advantages, like advanced portfolio management, and then reduced risk, then convenience and fair pricing, and so many other things, which I think our keynote speaker will be addressing all that. So when we look at from the point of view of economy, we know that investment is very crucial for economic development, especially the developmental activities. You take it whether it is industry, agriculture, or service sector, wherever investment plays a very important role. And as we all know, ours is an economy where we have a paucity of or scarcity of resources. And under such circumstances, capital markets come into picture, and investment like mutual funds will add to the stock of capital. And when the quantity of capital available to the economy increases, which is a very crucial determinant of labor productivity, and in turn that will enhance the productivity of the companies and the manufacturing sector, and in turn create employment opportunities in the economy. So capital or resources are required for each and every economic activity, be it industry, as I said. So mutual funds is going to be a very attractive investment avenue for majority of us. But as it has been said by our Dr. Joher, most of the time, many of our teachers may not be having an understanding of this avenue, that is mutual fund. So this webinar in this context, and this investment, especially even the mutual funds has important contribution to the economic development, but not in India. When we look at contribution of mutual fund in India's GDP, according to the financial year 2017, it is very low compared to other countries. Especially in India, it is only 14%. Its contribution to India's GDP, but it is 101% in USA and 58% in UK. So this is one area where we have to look into and encourage our teachers who have hard-earned money, but they may not be having an idea where to invest. And what about the risk, the mode of investment? So that is why the organizing this seminar will be of great help from economic point of view also, wherein more money will be flown into the economy for economic activities. And in the present circumstances of COVID-19, This is very much required, which can be invested in productive activities and thus boost the economy by creating more employment opportunities. With these few words, once again, I congratulate Dr. Johar and his team, and also for giving me an opportunity. So thank you, one and all, and wish you all the success for the seminar. Thank you.
Thank you, Pushpa ma'am. That was really very from the economic perspective. That's why we say that when the economists speak, everybody just listens. Thank you so much for your words.
Thank you.
Thank you. I now request our registrar, Professor Baswaraj Donur sir, who is very, very cooperative and helpful in all such type of academic activities. I request you to address the audience. Over to you, sir.
Sir, please unmute yourself.
Donur sir.
I think he is not able to unmute himself. Shabzar sir can help him out in unmuting.
Okay, ma'am. Doctor sir, Dr. P.K. Nagpa sir, please sir, unmute your option sir, please sir.
Baswaraj Donur sir. You have to unmute Baswaraj Donur sir.
Baswaraj Donur, okay ma'am. Okay ma'am.
Donur sir, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there, madam. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible, sir. So your address to the audience, please.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, madam. Professor M.V. Alagwadi, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Central University of Karnataka, Professor P.M. Saudati, madam, Dean, School of Business Studies, Dr. Mohammad Johar, Coordinator of the Department, Dr. Ganapati Sidnur, Dr. Safiya Pavin, Dr. Shushma H, and P.K. Nagpal, former ED, SEB, and all resource persons, delegates, students, research scholars, ladies and gentlemen. To begin with, I thank the organizers, especially Dr. Johar, for giving me an opportunity to participate in a seminar of this kind, which is of immense help to people in the area of business studies and economics, and also for people like me who work in the departments of language and literature. And I'm very glad that the Honorable Vice Chancellor, despite his hectic busy schedule, he could buy time for the webinar and participate in the webinar, inaugurate it, and also speak and make very insightful observations. And I am personally very happy to participate in this webinar because there is so much to learn for me, because I'm basically a teacher of English. I believe that the seminar aims at improving the financial literacy of common people who have no background of finance education. And management of finance is of great help, is of great importance for everyone, especially the people who do not know how to, the people who do not have knowledge how to manage finance. Earning money, anybody can earn money, but anybody does not know how to invest money. So investment is very, very essential in improving the finance of an individual or a company, I believe, or a government. And today, all of us earn money, even common people earn money, but most of us do not know how to invest. And this seminar, I'm sure will definitely explore the possibilities of investment, the possibilities of managing the finance. That's very, very important. And I'm not the right person to speak more on economy, management, etc., etc. And Professor Saudati Madam, who is an economist of a high repute, has already made her speech and also made a lot of insightful observations. I have only two things to share with you on this occasion. When Joher asked me to participate in this seminar and also a webinar and say a few words, and I was reminded of Shakespeare. So I'm very happy to tell you that management of finance is also part of literature. And especially in stories and novels and also in plays, we come across characters who, talk about the management of finance. And all our failures are because of the mismanagement of finance. No, if somebody goes bankrupt, if somebody, suffers heavy loss, it's not because he doesn't have resources, but he doesn't know how to manage his resources. In Hamlet, there is a son, and he wants to go abroad for his studies, and he goes to his father and asks him, "My father, I'm going to Germany for my studies. Would you please give me a piece of advice?" And then father says, "Neither a lender nor a borrower be. Neither a lender nor a borrower be. If you want to, live happily in the place where you are going for your higher studies, neither lend money nor borrow money, you'll be very happy." So this is how, even men of literatures and playwrights, poets and story writers also talk about management. But students of literature miss such things because they do not have the knowledge of economics. And I personally feel that a student of literature, if he has knowledge of economy, knowledge of management, he can understand literature better. He can understand Shakespeare better. He can understand many crises that he comes across in literature better. So I wish that all of us who work in language and literature should also attend some classes in economics and in management and learn so much from our fraternity from management and economics. With these scattered remarks of mine, I thank the organizers, I thank the Honorable Vice Chancellor, and I thank all of you for giving me this opportunity to participate and speak in this webinar a few words. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor Donur. Having listened to you, it is one thing that comes to my mind. Whatever stream or whatever department you belong, money is supposed to be the crux or the epicenter around which everybody is binded up together. So today we can never be we cannot avoid being a lender or a borrower. Today we have become a little more intelligent how we can manage both of these, our roles in between these two people. Thank you, Donur sir, for those nice words, and your words were really motivating and inspiring. Thank you. Having Shri P.K. Nagpal amidst us today, it gives a sense of pride that we are going to hear a person of high intellect, and especially people who are intelligent in money matters, in economic matters, are supposed to be the real intelligent people. I now request Dr. Shailaja, my colleague, to introduce Shri P.K. Nagpal sir to the audience. Over to you, Dr. Shailaja.
Thank you, Satya ma'am. Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, ma, you are.
Good morning, all the dignitaries, faculties, and my dear friends. Being a finance faculty, today I am very much privileged to introduce one of our chief guests, Mr. P.K. Nagpal, former Executive Director, SEBI. He worked with SEBI, Securities Exchange Board of India, since its inception, and he was also its Executive Director for almost 13 years before the retirement in December. He also held additional charge as a Director of National Institute of Securities Market, that is NSIM, and he was also nominated as a CEO of Central Listing Authority. He was also the chairperson of Standing Committee of International Organization of Securities Commission on Issuer Accounting, Auditing, and Disclosure, which was comprising of 33 major jurisdictions of the world during 2016-2018. He was also the chairperson of Committee of Regulators in Financial Sector, Committee on Stewardship Code, and Standing Committee on Credit Rating Agencies. Prior to SEBI, he worked with one of major stock exchange and one of major investment banking group in India. Post-retirement, he is also acting as consultant and legal advisor in financial sector. So, we all are for your presence. I welcome you, sir, on behalf of Central University of Karnataka to this webinar. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Shailaja madam. I now invite Shri P.K. Nagpal sir to please address all of us. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Shailaja. You are able to hear me?
Yes, sir, we are, sir.
Okay. Vice Chancellor, Dr. M.B. Alagwadi, faculty members of Central University of Karnataka, MP, Mr. Suryakant Sharma, and all participants. First of all, I am very thankful to Central University of Karnataka and MP for giving me an opportunity to be a part of this webinar. Such a webinar, as rightly said by Dr. Alagwadi and Dr. Joher, that these are for education of investors. Many people, though they are well qualified and doing well in their careers, don't understand how to take investment decisions because of the inadequate knowledge of financial products. And I am sure that this webinar will help the general public and investors to take well-informed investment decisions. Now, many times different agents, distributors are approaching the public and selling the financial products. If you go to any bank, they are more interested in selling the insurance product or mutual fund product, and without bothering whether those products are suitable for the investor. Therefore, if the investor understands the nature of different financial products and risks associated with such products, he can take his own well-informed investment decision. I shall also like to inform that when any agent or distributor is approaching any investor, he is also charging his commission, whether it is a bank or any other distributor. And there is a provision that the investors can invest in the mutual fund directly. It means they can go to the mutual fund and make investment in their schemes, whichever they like. And thus they can avoid paying the commission to the distributor. And as per the study, generally in such schemes, which are known as direct plans of mutual funds, the return in equity market, equity scheme is generally higher by 1%. Likewise, in debt schemes also, the return is higher if the investor goes to the mutual fund directly rather than going through the distributor. Because the expense ratio of the mutual fund scheme is lower in case of direct plans. And there are different types of mutual fund schemes. These are equity schemes, these are debt schemes, and these are balanced schemes, sector-specific schemes, diversified schemes, large cap, mid cap, small cap schemes. If the investor understands the products, he can take informed decision while putting his hard-earned money. Now, one other thing I should like to inform the participants is that whenever you want to invest in the security markets, the first requirement is undergoing the process of KYC, know your customer. SEBI has come out with the guidelines that if an investor undergoes the process of KYC through any intermediary in the security market, he need not undergo the same process again when he goes to any other intermediary. For example, if investor go to a broker, his KYC is done. Second time when the investor goes to any other broker, a mutual fund, or depository participant to open the Demat account, he need not undergo the process of KYC again. There is a centralized KYC system, and all the intermediary can access the KYC information of the client. Now, while after KYC, next step is to invest in the market, whether through the mutual fund schemes or through the directly in the stock market. The investor should do his own risk and return analysis. And if he does not understand, he can take help of the financial advisor or investment advisor or portfolio manager who are registered with SEBI. And one more point in this regard, I should like to mention that sometimes there are news in the media that a big investor is making investment in a particular stock, or the mutual fund is buying a particular stock, or any institution is buying. But any investor should make his own risk and return analysis, because the big investors, they have a lot of money. They have hundreds of crores of rupees. Their risk profile is different, and investors should not follow them blindly. And he should take his own investment decisions depending on his own risk profile, and he should do his own risk and return analysis. As I said that there are different type of mutual fund schemes to meet the requirements of different type of investors. And if investor can take risk, he can put his money in the equity-oriented schemes. Otherwise, he can put into the debt schemes or balanced schemes where mutual fund is investing in the equity as well as the debt market. Sector-specific schemes are more risky, and these are subject to fluctuations in the market. And I can also like to give you the example of Franklin Mutual Fund. About a year back, they stopped redemption in the six debt schemes because they invested in some scrapes which were not very liquid. Matter went to the High Court and then the Supreme Court. Now, the mutual fund is able to realize some money and they are going to distribute. But still, it will take a lot of time before all the investors get money which they had invested originally. I'm not going to discourage the investors from investing in the mutual fund schemes. I am just telling that certain risks are always associated with the equity-oriented mutual fund schemes as well as debt mutual fund schemes. Now, I shall also like to mention one thing, that many times the investors must have heard that equity market gives very good returns in the long term. Now, the meaning of long term differs from person to person. For some people, 3 to 5 years may be a long-term period. For some people, 10 years may be a long-term period. For some people, 1 or 2 years may be a long-term period. Therefore, the investor had to see how much holding capacity he has got. And I shall like to give you some examples how the market has behaved in the long run in the past. You take the example of early 1992, when the Sensex was 4,500. After 8 years, in early 2000, the Sensex was only 6,000. And after that, the index declined to less than 3,000. And again, it went up to 6,000 in the year 2004. It means for 12 years, the mutual fund equity scheme might have given only, or even a direct investment in equity must have given only 33% return over a period of 12 years. It means 2 to 3% per annum return to the investor. I'll give you another example. Sensex was 21,000 in early 2008. And as you know that last year, index was 41,000 before the coronavirus pandemic broke out. It means in 12 years, the market index doubled. It means the investors got only 6% return in the equity market over a period of 12 years. Whereas, if you remember that in the early 90s, debt instruments were giving 13 to 14% return. I remember that in 94, public provident fund was giving about 12% return. Non-convertible debentures used to give 14 to 15% return. Again, I'm not going to discourage the investors. I am just telling what has happened in the past. There were times when equity market has given very good return. For example, between 2004 and 2008, in 4 years, market went up by more than 300%. For example, the index was 6,000 in 2004 and index was 21,000 in early 2008. It means more than 300% return given to the investors. You take the example of last year, when the index declined from 41,000 to about 26,000. Now again, index went up to 52,000, almost double in 1 year. So there are times when the equity market has given very good returns, and there are times when, for a very long period, equity market has not given good return. You take the therefore, the investor should understand this aspect. If he is on the verge of retirement, or if he has already retired, in that case, he should take decisions very carefully, and he should understand that there may be occasions when the market may not go up as expected by him. Now, other point which I shall like to mention is that the schemes in the mutual fund, whether it is equity market, they are also dependent on the market trend. And if the investor is investing directly in the stock market by taking his own investment decisions, then I would like to mention that he should go to a broker who is registered with SEBI and who is under the regulation of SEBI. And whenever investor is trading through a broker, he must insist on getting the contract notes, which is mandatory. And in case of any dispute, contract note is very important document. And the investor should check his demat account from time to time. There are occasions when a few brokers have pledged the shares of investors and got the money from the banks and non-banking finance companies. And subsequently, they were not able to pay the money to the investors. They took action. And some investors have got the money back. But in some cases, the securities are still held up with the broker who has been declared a defaulter. Therefore, the investor should check his demat account from time to time. And other point is that there have been news in the media that during the last 1.5 years, about 20 brokers have been declared defaulters. And defaulter means the broker is not able to meet his liability in the stock market. Just to give me a minute, let me try my laptop if it's working. In such cases, when the broker is declared a defaulter, in that case, there is an investor protection fund maintained by each stock exchange. And there is an upper limit of 25 lakhs rupees, up to which investor can be compensated. But I shall like to mention that if a person has given money to the broker and broker has assured him certain returns and there is no transaction in the market, these will not be considered as stock market transactions, and such transactions will not be eligible for compensation from investor protection fund. As Mr. Basraj said that don't lend and don't borrow, so investors should be very careful not to lend money to the broker and don't be carried away by high returns assured by the broker. Other point I should like to mention is that if a client has any complaint against any broker, he should approach the stock exchange, and there are investor grievance committees established by all the stock exchanges. And for example, National Stock Exchange and Bombay Stock Exchange, they have such investor grievance committee in 24 cities. An investor can approach those committees as convenient to him. These committee have independent members and they will try to address the complaint of the investor. If an investor is not satisfied with the decision taken by the investor grievance committee, he can file arbitration within the exchange. And if he is not satisfied with the arbitration award, he can file appeal against the arbitration award within the exchange. It means the investor need not go to the court to redress his grievances. Other point which I should like to mention is that apart from investment in the equity market, in the stock market, some investors are indulge in trading, option trading, future trading. I should like to mention that option and future trading and day trading, these are very risky trading and financial instrument. Investors should participate in such trading only when he understands the products. Other point I should like to mention is that there are certain stocks in the market which are not very liquid. And many times these illiquid stocks are manipulated by the stockbrokers. Price goes up on a continuous basis, and when the investor invests in such security, the brokers sell and other manipulators sell in the market, and ultimately the scripts which are not fundamentally strong are held up by the investors, and they suffer huge losses. So investors should be careful while investing in the illiquid securities in the market. Other point which I shall like to mention is that the investor can also invest in the IPO market. And if there is some problem in the allotment because of the negligence of the banker to the issue or the registrar to the issue or merchant banker, he can complain to the merchant banker and or SEBI, and there are a number of instances when investors have been compensated by the merchant banker or the registrar, whosoever had done the mistake, who had shown the negligence, other point which I shall like to mention is that these are the that tax matter should also be taken into account. For example, earlier dividend were tax free, then earlier long-term capital gains were tax free. Now both the instruments are taxable. And while taking any investment decision, the investor should also take into account what is the tax liability on such instrument. And now I would like to mention that Mr. Suryakant Sharma, he will explain to you all the financial instruments in detail. And I wish this webinar a great success. I'm sure that the investors will be educated and they will be able to take well-informed investment decisions. Thank you.
Thank you, Nagpal sir. Through your words, we could actually try to make a guess what could have been your experience. Because even the few minutes what you spent in speaking to us, you were so very informative and so very directional. Thank you, Nagpal sir, for being with us and sharing your an unexperienced experience with all of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I now request Dr. Sushma to please introduce the keynote speaker, Shri Suryakant Sharma, the Senior Consultant, North India AMFI, to all of us. Over to you, Sushma. Sushma, are you there? Dr. Sushma, are you there? Hello, Sushma madam.
Mr. Sabzar.
Hello.
She is there, but she has unmuted. She has muted. Please unmute her. She is trying to speak, but she is muted.
Is Mr. Sabzar there?
Sir, can you please unmute Dr. Sushma?
And we can go on with even without introduction. That is not an important thing. Already 12 o'clock. Mr. Johar.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If you wish, we can start. Introduction is not so important. Only thing is the introduction.
It looks some technical issues are there.
Yeah.
And Dr. Sushma
Sir,
was supposed to.
Just a minute, sir.
Since Sabzar is admin, he only can do that. But it seems he is not able to listen to us.
Zed, sir?
Yeah.
I think I'll just give a brief profile of Shri
Yes,
Suryakant
madam. Yes.
Sharma.
Yes,
because
madam.
there's
Yes,
some
madam.
issues, some technical issues.
Please.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very small introduction of a great personality. So Suryakant Sharma, sir, is a commerce graduate and master's in law with specialization in corporate law. He is also a chartered associate of Indian Institute of Banking and Finance, IIFBF. Shri Sharma has over 35 years of experience in banking and finance and security markets, and he has served a leading financial institution, thereafter in Department of Financial Services, Ministry of Finance, Government of India, and finally in SEBI. He joined Securities and Exchange Board of India in 2003 and served there for more than 15 years as in different departments of SEBI. Lastly, in addition to other assignments, he was DGM in charge of Office of Investor Awareness and Education in SEBI's Northern region for more than 5 years. He is also a member of working group of NCERT for developing vocational course on mutual funds for students of 12th and for students of 11th and 12th classes. He is also a mentor of a few NGOs working for financial literacy and investor awareness in the country. Under his supervision, more than 15,000 financial literacy and investor awareness programs have been conducted across North India, and he himself has addressed as guest speaker in more than 600 IAPs. After superannuation from SEBI in 2019, he has joined Association of Mutual Funds in India, that is AMFI, an apex body of mutual funds in India, as senior consultant for North India. So this was a very small introduction of Mr. Shri Suryakant Sharma ji, sir. Sir, I now hand over the mic to you for you to address all of us. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Safia. Good morning to all of you. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are, sir.
Okay. Mr. Jahir, I just want to know how much time you will like to give me comfortably.
Sir, I think around 50 minutes. 45 minutes will be okay. After that, we can go for question answers.
Very right, very right. So that I can moderate accordingly, my session
Yes,
accordingly.
sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Honorable Principal, Honorable Registrar, respected my senior colleague, Mr. P.K. Nagpal, Dean of the Commerce Business Studies Department, Safia, all core team, and of course, top of it, Mr. Johar, without whom it would not be possible to connect with you. Though Mr. Sabjar Ahmed has been the connecting point between us, but Dr. Johar was so kind to accept the invitation when when we connected with him. Thank you very much, Dr. Johar. Now, as far as this today's program is today's session, my session is concerned, is financial empowerment through wealth creation. But before that, I want to share two things to all the participants. First thing is, this program is purely and purely for the participants. So, since you have joined, kindly be attentive. And since you are attentive, I will request to all of you to kindly have pen and pencil with you and note down anything you found useful or a new idea, which you can explore through Google or through websites. Secondly, I would be very happy if more and more questions come from the participants. I will request Dr. Johar to kindly depute one of your colleagues to collect questions from chat box. So then at the end of my session, he or she can ask the questions. That will be more convenient. All the participants to kindly share their all queries and questions in the chat box. That will be taken care of by Dr. Johar. Now, as far as
Dr. Safia will take care of this.
No issue.
Yes,
Whoever.
yes. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, before coming to the financial empowerment and wealth creation, I wish to share 4 things which every individual should have as early as he or she can. These are not purely investments, very honestly speaking, but they might dent your investment. They might derail your investment. They might derailment your financial plan. So kindly note down these 4 things. And those, there are 2, I think broadly there are 2 categories of participants. One category who are already earners, faculty members, staff members, parents of the students. And the other category is of students. And for both the categories, I will request them kindly to note down these 4 things and do these things as quickly as you have done. This is for the first category. And for the students, when they start earning, complete these 4 things in the first year of their job. in the first year of their career. The first and foremost thing, that every individual should have adequate life insurance cover. Now, all these four things are not investment, I again repeat, but are most essential things. Every individual should have adequate life insurance cover. Now, what is the definition of adequacy? It should broadly be 10 times of your annual income. If your annual income is say 25 lakhs, then you should ideally have a life insurance cover of 2.5 crores. This life insurance cover may not be beneficial to you, rather it may have a cost for you, but it will give you a mental security to your family and to you both, that in case, because of some unfortunate thing happening in your life, you are no more available with the family, at least the family will have that corpus, that amount on return on which they can sustain themselves. So insurance is a must, but is not an investment. In India, insurance is still being sold as an investment, kindly minded, but it is very essential. Second thing is, every individual, or for that matter, family, should have adequate health insurance cover to take care of medical emergencies. You all know that such emergencies come without giving any notice, unexpectedly, all of a sudden. And when such things happens, we need to spend huge money on hospitalization and other related things. So kindly have a adequate life insurance, health insurance cover for individual, and the best policy available in the market, which will give health insurance cover not to the individual but the whole family, is a floater policy. It is called a floater policy, floater health insurance policy. In health insurance policy, you can cover not only yourself, your spouse, your children, and your parents as well. So kindly go for a floater policy. And for both the insurance, one thing is very important: early you take, lesser will leave the premium. So kindly take it as early as you can. The ideally, every family should have a health insurance cover of around 18 to 20 lakhs. Third one is, pandemic has otherwise taught a lot of lessons, but the most important lesson pandemic has given all of us is that every family should have an emergency fund of around 8 to 10 lakhs. This is a must. Because in case of emergency, in case of pandemic, lot of families have faced unbearable problems, particularly financial problems. Jobs have been were lost, a reduction in their salary, irregular receipt of regular income of their salary, all these things. So take care of your monthly expenses at least for 8 to 10 months. You should ideally, every family should ideally have an insurance emergency fund of around 8 to 10 lakhs. That can be developed over a period of time, maybe 2 to 3 years. That should be handy. This is a precondition for emergency fund. That should be handy. You can keep that fund in your some FDs or with liquid funds. I will go on liquid fund later on. So third thing is, every family should have an emergency fund. The fourth one is directly addressed to the first category, those who are earners. If you have taken housing loan, kindly take an matching accidental insurance cover for that. And those students who will be taking housing loan when they start earning down the line, they should also have a matching accidental insurance cover. What it will serve the purpose? I have experienced it. One of my friends, 33-year-old boy, was married, have 2 daughters, was working in some regional rural banks, met with an accident, and he was no more. He had taken housing loan of around 55 lakhs 2 years back. So he had hardly repaid around 3-4 lakhs. Now, when he met in accident and he was no more, you can see the problem his family faced. His wife was a homemaker only. They had now they have no option. They have 2 options: either to surrender the home, which they had taken out of loan, or pay the housing loan amount. They didn't have so much of money to pay the housing loan. They had to surrender the housing loan. Had they taken some accidental insurance cover, that amount of accidental cover should have been directly paid by the insurance company to the housing company. So this is also essential. It definitely has cost, but it is essential. So these four things, I again repeat, are very essential not to dent your investment or your wealth. Now coming to the point, financial empowerment and wealth creation. What is the main source of our income? I appreciate most of the participants are earners and their main source of income is their monthly salary. Students also, most of them will join initially at least for some job or service, or down the line in their career, they may go for some enterprise or in profession also. But majority of them will join, to start with their career in some service or some job. So our main source of income is our monthly salary. Now, what we do with our monthly salary? You all know that majority of our monthly salary goes into taking care of our monthly expenses. Suppose your salary is 50,000. So almost 40,000 goes into taking care of our monthly expenses, but still there remains some amount which we don't spend. Otherwise, we can spend. We have a lot of essentialities even. We have a lot of luxuries in our life to enjoy. But despite all these temptations, we don't spend all our salary on monthly expenses or luxuries or essentials. We keep some amount away from our monthly income. That the amount which we don't spend is in technical terms called saving. And we all do savings. We Indians are still one of the best savers in the world. We do save the amount. But two things I wish to tell you about saving. First thing is we are not casual about the saving. So I give you a new idea today. From next one onwards, those who are earners, from next one onwards, once you decide what you can comfortably save, and once the moment you have decided, then religiously first take away that amount of when you get salary. And this amount should be keep increasing every year minimum by 10% till you are in active life. Active life simply means when you continue earning the money. So two things about saving. First thing is, whatever you have decided that I can comfortably make this amount of saving from my salary, kindly religiously do it. You have to put yourself under this discipline. Secondly, you keep increasing this saving every year minimum by 10%. Suppose this year you are saving 10,000, next year it should be 11,000, third year it should be 12,100. Likewise. So these two things are the first step of your prosperity. These two steps are most important steps in your life to be a prosperous person. But at the same time, this is only a first step. The second step comes when we think what we do with the money which we have saved. Now, there are again two options. The one option is whatever money you have saved, you can keep it at your home in a box or in SB account. But if you are doing this thing, and I know most of the earners are not doing things because we are all educated, we are wise, we are all very smart. But if any person is doing this practice of keeping the savings at home or in SB account, he or she is not doing injustice to himself or herself, to the family, and to the nation as a whole. Please don't do it. Stop it at once. Then, of course, the question will be what to do then. Then we should put this money into some assets which will appreciate over a period of time, or in some financial instruments which will give you return. Putting this saving into some assets or in financial instrument is called investment. And you all know that though the first step of to be prosper is saving, but second and most important thing is putting that money into investment mode. We have to invest. And we have to invest these savings. We have to continue investing our savings into putting into investments. Now, In that way, we are all investors. We are all investors. In one or other scheme we are investing, we are all investors. But unfortunately, and it is very painful to note, and most of the middle class Indians, I more focus on them. Most of the middle class Indians are literally money accumulators. They have not been wealth creators. We are money, and top of it, we don't accept it. We still say, no, we are very smart. We are investing our money in a most wise manner. But the fact is this, that most of the middle class persons have yet been money accumulator, and we have not been wealth creator. And you will appreciate financial empowerment will not be there without wealth creation. Now, what is the difference between money accumulator and wealth creator? There is very thin difference, and that I will again go through, take you with some very simple example. I would like to make this session very simple, as if we are talking at the drawing room. And so suppose you have 1 lakh rupees with you, and now you say, okay, I am going to have a fixed deposit of this amount with some bank for 1 year. The prevailing rate, we take it at 6%. So after 1 year, when I ask you what you have got, your answer will be simple. I have got 6,000 as interest income, and 1 lakh rupees has been returned back by the bank. Your interest income has been 6,000. Now I ask you, are you right? You will definitely say, yes, I am right. I got 6,000 credit in my bank account plus my amount back from the bank. I am absolutely right. Sir, you are right, but you are not right. You are right because you got the credit, but why you are not right? You ignore 2 factors. And these 2 factors are most important factors to look at in every investment decision. The first important factor is, and which is the most important factor which we normally ignore, is the factor of inflation. What is the factor of inflation? As we all know, increase in the prices of item or services over a period of time. When you had 1 lakh rupees last year, whatever items or things or services you could have availed from that 1 lakh rupees, would you be able to avail same services, items and or things after 1 year for 1 lakh rupees? I think your answer will be no. Why? Because the prices of those items or services have increased. And we presume that the inflation rate has been 5%. Now, what does it mean? It simply means that for the same services and items which we could have got before 1 year at 1 lakh rupees, now we will need to spend 1,05,000 rupees. So this 5,000 rupees has been because of increase in 5,000 rupees purchasing because of the increase in the prices. Now here, if I take this example, out of 6,000, 5,000 has been eaten by the inflation. Kindly mind it, this is the most important thing which we normally ignore. Still, there remains 1,000, but again, other factor is also there, with the taxability. Most of the income or return are taxable except some governmental schemes or broadly some government classification. Most of the return and income are taxable, and here again, interest income beyond 10,000 as per extent income tax rule is taxable. And I presume you have earned this 6,000 interest income after earning 10,000 in earlier bank FD likewise, because you already earned 10,000 in other FD or some bank schemes. So these 6,000 interest income is taxable. If you are in 20% bracket, which simply means that you will need to pay 1,200 rupees as income tax on 6,000 interest income. Now you see the proposition. You earned 6,000 as interest income, 5,000 was eaten by the inflation, and 1,200 you paid as income tax. Now you can't avoid, you will appreciate now you can't avoid because of technology, because of finalization, of technology. Every your investment or big spending, details of which are available with the government, with the income tax department, so you can't avoid it. If you avoid it, if you don't mention it, earlier there used to be a time when most of such investments were not mentioned by the investors, but now you can't avoid it. You will need to mention it in your income tax return. So out of 6,000 you earn, you 5,000 were eaten by the inflation, 1,200 by the income tax you paid, and now see the proposition, there is no return at all. There was notional return of 6,000, but there is no real return on this investment. Mind it. And we have to have some real return if you want to be prosper, if you want to be wealth creator. So if we are not getting any real return on our investments, we are sheer money accumulator. When we are getting reasonable real return on our investments, we are okay with wealth creation and we are on the track of wealth creation. Now I take this example forward. Suppose the interest rate is 8%. In that scenario, and the presumption the same that with regard to inflation 5% only. In that scenario, out of 8,000, 5,000 has been eaten by the inflation. Then still remain 3,000, but on 8,000 you need to pay income tax at the rate of 20% slab if you are in 20% slab. So 1,600 you pay as income tax. Now there is still remain 1,400. That 1,400 is your real income. So kindly analyze all your investments that there is some real return. And in the present context, if you are getting 2 to 5% real return, forget about notional return. If you are getting 2 to 5% real return, I feel you are on the right track with regard to your investments, and keep doing those investments. Continue with those investments. So this thing, this inflation and taxability are the most important factor to be looked at while analyzing your investments. Now the question arises, why we are not wealth creators? Why we are still money accumulators? We are smart, we are educated, we are wise, we know the intricacies of economics and all these things, but still most of the middle class Indians have not been wealth creator. Why? This is a very big question. Why? Because of a singular factor which desists us, which stops us, which don't allow us to go for wealth creation. And what is that factor? That factor is the risk, R-I-S-K, risk. And when we hear the word risk, our first reaction will be nothing, no Baba, nothing. We are not going for any such investment. Where is this? Just tell me what are the safest investment modes? What are the safest investment products? This is our mentality. This is in our blood. We don't want to take risk, but at the same time, I tell you very honestly that with most of the investments, except some governmental schemes, where government is sitting as a guarantor, as a sovereign guarantee, most of the schemes have got risk. So there is a risk in investment. You should accept it. Yes, risk is there. First, you accept risk is there, then the question arises, can we manage our risk? Firstly, risk is there. And you have to accept that with most of the investments, the risk is there, except some governmental scheme, which we will discuss later on. Now, risk is there, we have accepted. Now, the second question is, can we manage our risk? My answer is yes, we can. My emphatic answer is yes. Every individual can manage his or her risk to a greater extent, not fully, but to a greater extent. How we can manage it? By a very simple formula I'm sharing with you. Very simple formula, but it will change your life if you practice this formula in your life. And the formula is two-word formula, only two-word formula. But these two words are very important. The words are think, understand, and invest. In Hindi, if I say, soch kar, samajh kar, nivesh kar. Now there are two words. One is think. What is to be thought? You have to thought about yourself. Two factors. One is your risk appetite. And you will appreciate that every individual has got different risk appetite. In your Central University of Karnataka, suppose you have in Mr. Juhair's department, there are 3 assistant professors. One is of age of 28 years, second one is of 30 years, third one is 33 years. All are assistant professor, broadly getting same salary. But the first one, who is 28 years, is not yet married. He has got greater risk appetite. He can take risk. He doesn't have any liability now for the present. Second one has got married, yet not children. He can take risk, but lesser risk than the first one. But the third one, who is married, having children are in school going, parents are with him or her, he will be doubly shy before taking any risk. And it should be. So kindly first accept that every individual should have got risk appetite or different risk appetite. And secondly, even the risk appetite of the same individual keep changing with the passage of age, with the passage of time. At 28, he or she can take a greater risk. At 30, 32, he will be taking lesser risk. After 40, after 45, or at least after 55, he would not like to have any risk at all. So the first thing about to be thought of is your risk appetite. Second thing is your time horizon. What is your time horizon of investment? And in time horizon, I just again give you a very, very simple exercise. Kindly do it. All the participants, at least those who are earning, kindly take this exercise, kindly do this exercise, sit calmly and note down the milestones of your life. These are normal milestones in our life, normal milestones. If you are going to be a saint, then forget about these milestones. But if you have to live in the society, then these are normal milestones. Vice Chancellor sir had also mentioned about these things. What these are milestones? Milestones are, if you are not married, you will be getting married. After marriage, children will come your family. Then definitely you will think of have your own house. Then definitely you will have, your family will desire a 3-wheeler or 4-wheeler for your family. It is very natural. After that, your children will start going to school. For their admission, you will need money. Then down the line, children will definitely like to go for some national or international tours, luxuries. Side by side, your family will desire. Then your children have grown. For higher education, you will go for their higher education or professional education. Then for their marriage. And after that, a time will come when you get retired. For retired life. All these things are common milestones in our life. We all accept it. But then we are very casual. When things are certain, 99% all these things will happen in our life. Are we attentive? No, we are casual. What we say, God will take care. How God will take care? We are salary class persons only. Our main source of income is salary, and salary will be grossly insufficient to achieve these milestones, and to grossly insufficient for having the money for these milestones. So kindly do an exercise. Note down your milestones, your life. Normal milestone, or whatever milestones you have in mind. I have just narrated the normal milestone, but even you have some other milestone, no, jot it down in the first column. That second column, what is the time horizon? Suppose you are not married, you are getting married after 2 years. The second column is 2 years. Then after 1.5 years, children will come your life. Celebration will happen after 3.5 years. Celebration on the birth of a child. Then for again next 3-4 years, children will start going to a school. For their admission in a good school, you will need money. Likewise, you note down all the milestones and the time horizons up to your retirement. Suppose you are 25, retirement will normally come after 35 years. Normally, I'm telling you. And then on the third column, you put the probable amount, broad amount you will need. Again, it is a broad estimate only. Precisely, you can't do. Honestly, nobody can do it. But we can make a broad estimate of this thing. Suppose after 2 years, you are going to be married. And you say that I will need at least 5 lakhs from my saving or from my pocket. Rest of the money will be taken care of by my parents. So put 5 lakhs rupees. Likewise, just give that amount which you will need for achieving those targets or for financial goals. Make a chart of it. And I tell you, it is not a rocket science. Every individual can make it. Honorable Registrar, who was mentioning that he is not from commerce background, I will request him, sir, investment is not a complicated thing. So-called experts have made it complicated. Otherwise, a normal, ordinary human being, educated person can take good investment decision, provided he is alert, he is attentive, he is very clear about his milestone, he is very clear about his time horizon, and he is very clear about the money he will need. So this making chart of this is technically called financial planning. And every individual should have financial planning. Every individual, or for that matter, you can include family also. So every family should have financial planning. And once we have financial planning in place, what will happen? Goals are very clear before us. Targets are very clear before us. Milestones are very clear before us. Time horizon is very clear before us. And the money which we need is very clear before us. And once this financial planning is placed, it will change your thinking, it will change your life. How? Because then you will seriously start working on achieving those targets. Then you will very seriously start working on achieving, having those amounts at that time. And then the push will come. Once you become serious, once you become attentive, you will start saving, you will start investing in the product and all these things. So financial planning is a must, kindly note it down. So again, I am coming back to the factor that what is to be thought of. One is your risk appetite, second is the time horizon. So suppose for a time horizon is after 2 years you need 5 lakhs rupees. So you will start saving and investing those your money, your savings in such manner that after 2 years you have 5 lakhs corpus to take care of your marriage expenses. So you will invest your money in such products which will give a reasonable return and give back to money in 2 years. Because now the goals are very clear. So 2 things you have to think about yourself. First is your risk appetite. Second is your time horizon. Now the second word was understand. What is to be understood? You have to understand the product where you are investing. What is the product? What is its risk appetite? Where your money will be invested? What has been their track record of the persons who are managing your investments? Then what is the time horizon in which your money will be invested? And I tell you very clearly, every investment is good, nothing is bad. But provided it suits your time horizon, provided it matches your risk appetite. But mostly, typically what happens, there is mismatch of our priorities, of our time horizon. Suppose you need 5 lakhs rupees after 2 years, but you invest in a product which will start giving return after 10 years or 50, which will return your money after 15 years, like PPF. PPF is a scheme for 15 years. So there should be broadly matching of time horizon, both the investment product and your time horizon. So think and understand. And once you go through these processes, then you are comfortable investing your money. So kindly see that you kindly first have confidence that first have acceptance that risk is there, but have confidence that risk can be managed by the simple formula. think, understand, and invest. Now, the one more thing I wish to tell you about investment is, and that is eighth wonder of investment, that is rule of compounding. We all have studied compounding interest and simple interest when we were in 6 or 7 standards. And we all know what rule of compounding is. But you have to deeply, seriously, wisely have practice of rule of compounding in your investments. What does it simply means? It simply means that whatever return or income you get on your investments, don't consume it. Don't use it. Keep reinvesting those return or investments side by side with your regular investments. If you do it for 15, 20, 25 years, this rule will give you extraordinary benefit. And even you have not even thought of. Sometimes the return become bigger than your principal investment, but that will happen only after 15 to 20, 25 years. So kindly religiously follow rule of compounding in your investment decisions. Now I'm coming to where we have, what are the products where we can invest. The first part is governmental schemes. Post office schemes are there, recurring schemes, senior citizen scheme, but a lot of other schemes are there. Monthly income scheme is there. Then bank schemes are there, FD is there, recurring schemes are there. Then government also sometimes get loan from public through sale of treasury bills. Then RBI also issue bonds periodically, tax-free bonds and normal bonds to the public. Then public sector undertakings also periodically and regularly issue debentures and bonds to the public for raising money. All these things are within the ambit of governmental schemes. PPF is there, National Savings Certificate Scheme is there. These all schemes are within the ambit of government, under the umbrella of government. And when it is the umbrella of government, you will appreciate that there is no risk. There is no risk. But there are two factors you should appreciate. Most of the governmental schemes are for longer period. 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 30 years for your EPF, like that thing. And then return is reasonable. You may have reasonable return, real return in some governmental products, but they are not extraordinary. And for better wealth creation, we have to have some products where we get extraordinary returns, handsome returns. But we have to put some or portion of our savings into government scheme as well, to safeguard or to minimize our risk. Now, beyond governmental schemes, other options are also there, like real estate. You can invest in real estate. Earlier, there used to be huge return in real estate, but last 5 years has not been good. You all know, money has been stuck up. When you want to sell the property, you wouldn't be able to. Then even real estate investment, huge investment is required, 50, 60, 70 lakhs. But real estate is, of course, an option. After that, gold is also an option where you can invest. In gold also, you know, before 3 years, there was not even a reasonable return on gold. But last 3 years has been reasonable with regard to return on gold. But top of it, last 1 year, bearing this 2 months, last 2 months, gold has given extraordinary, unexpected returns. But will it sustain? Only a local astrologer of your university, local area astrologer can tell you. Nobody can tell you. But gold is still an option, and particularly our female members of our family, you know how much passion they have got about gold. Gold has to be in our investment basket. But 10 to 50% maximum, you can invest your saving into gold. And here I again say that in gold, in our investments, we should develop a basket of investment. We should not put all eggs in one basket. We should have different investment products in our basket, like governmental schemes, like real estate, like gold. And the last one which I'm sharing with you is share market, securities market. What is security market? When I joined SEBI was not much known at that time. When I told one of my friends that I have joined SEBI, what is full name? I told Securities and Exchange Board of India. He said, is it some security guard providing agency? Because most of the people were not aware at that time about securities even. But now, security market is a flare nowadays for young investor particularly. Everybody wants to know what is security market, because security market has given the highest average return during last 35 years, which no other product has given. I am talking of average 35-year product, 13.5% return, which no other product has. All other products, governmental scheme, PPF, EPF, RBI bonds, and then real estate, then gold even, they have given average return of less than 10%. But security market has given 13.5% average return, I tell you, for last 35 years. But again, as Nagpal Sahab was mentioning very clearly, he was cautioning you again and again, this is a very risky market and it is a knowledge-based market. If you have time, if you have knowledge, if you take risk, only then you think of entering into the security market, firstly. Secondly, but where there is no risk, in real estate also risk, in gold also there is risk. So risk, even in our life, risk is there. Today you came to the university from your home on your 4-wheeler or 2-wheeler. What there no risk? Yes, risk was there. Anybody could have hit you from wrong side. Anybody could have speeded his vehicle and you might have met with an accident. But what you did? You became alert by driving. You maintained proper speed. You saw front and rear mirror all the time. These precautions you take. Likewise, in investment, risk is there, but by taking precaution, by become attentive, by following the rule of think, understand, and invest, you can manage the risk. So in security market also, you can manage the risk, what I am mentioning here. There are 3 major segments of security market. First is primary market, where your money will be where corporate directly issue share or debentures to the public and public subscribe it. There is direct touch between corporate and public. And when there is direct touch, it is called primary market. Such shares are issued through the technical process of IPO. I don't have time to go into all these details, but this is primary market where corporate and investor is directly in touch. You invest the money, you get share in your demat account. Now physical form of shares are no more available. If the company issue debentures, you get the debentures in your demat form, and likewise. When company issue shares to an investor and he subscribes it, he accepts the offer and he gets it, what happens? You become owner of that corporate, mind it. And when you become owner of the corporate, risk become greater, but the possibility of getting reward also become greater. Because as per basic economics rules, more risk, more reward. But it doesn't mean that more risk guaranteed reward. No, there is no guarantee. But the possibility of getting higher return is there when you take risk. So in equity market, risk is there. So the first segment is primary market, when the corporate and the investor in direct touch. Then other segment is secondary market, where corporate is in non-direct touch with the investor, but you go to the market, just like you are purchasing some shirt or some items, you go to the market, purchase shares. You can purchase shares or sell shares if you have. There are crores of transactions every day where shares of the corporates, or for that matter, listed debentures, are purchased and sold. Here, corporate is no direct involved. You go to the market and purchase it. And again, for that, there is a mechanism. You have to go through a process of going to the SEBI registered broker, and then on your behalf, he will go to the market. And market here means exchanges. And there are 2 exchanges, NSE and BSE. So you can, if you wish, or if you have idea of getting share of any corporate, if you have money, you can go to the market, follow the process, and you can purchase shares of any company, listed company, of course, those who are listed. Then you can sell shares if you have of any company at any point of time at the prevailing price. So this is called secondary market. Now the third one is mutual fund. Now what is mutual fund? Mutual fund is simply a trust where you give your money, as Honorable Vice Chancellor was also mentioning. In mutual fund, you are giving your money to the experts with the sole purpose of generating higher and higher return. Though there are some mutual fund schemes which are social oriented schemes, non-profit schemes are also, very few schemes are there. Even Shariat schemes are also there in mutual fund. So in mutual fund, you simply, since you don't have time, since you don't have knowledge, but you are very clear about your risk appetite, you are very clear about your time horizon. So you correspondingly, there are schemes in the mutual fund which will give you return on one-day investment. There are schemes in the mutual fund which will start generating return for a very short period of 3 months. There are schemes in the mutual fund which will start generating return on 3 to 6 months. There are schemes which will start generating for beyond 1 year, beyond 3 years, beyond 10 years. So there are thousands of schemes in mutual fund. Only thing you have to select it, you have to look at your risk appetite. You have to risk your time horizon of investment, and then broadly match those risk appetite and time horizon with a mutual fund scheme. And this you can do because of two things. Firstly, in every mutual fund scheme, two things are clear when you open the scheme. When you start reading this, first thing, what is the purpose and the ambit of that scheme, where your money will be invested. And secondly, with every scheme from 1st January 2021, SEBI has attached a riskometer, which simply means that riskometer will at the first hand give you idea how much risk is involved in this scheme. Now broadly match that with your risk appetite. So suppose the key of that scheme is tilting towards right, towards left, it simply means there is a very low risk. But when you start rising and come in middle, it means risk is there, relatively high risk is there. And when the key tilt towards left in the riskometer, it shows that in this scheme, highest risk is there. So you decide as per your risk appetite. So mutual fund is simply a trust where you give your money to the money managers, to the fund managers, who are experts, who have got knowledge of the market, who have been in the market for pretty long time, and their decisions will relatively, I am using the word relatively, be beneficial and good and right, because they have got experience as compared to us ordinary middle class investor. So here you are simply giving money, of course, looking at your risk appetite and your time horizon. So selection of a scheme is most important in mutual fund. And that again is a rocket science. An ordinary human being can do it. Even a person like Registrar Sahib, who is not from the commerce or economics background, he can also do it. Just look at the object, look at the ambit of the scheme and the risk appetite, and you will be able to know what the scheme is, what the risk is, what the time horizon is. Mutual funds are most transparent. When you give your money, evening same day you will get the message that so much of the units of that scheme at the price of that day has been allotted to you. Then for every 15 years or every 15 days, you will get a mail from the mutual fund AMC or from the fund manager that your money has been invested in such and such corporates, how many shares they have purchased, if you are in that scheme, where your money has been given as a loan to the which corporate and what the amount. So everything will be shared with you fortnightly. So you can know, and if you are not satisfied, you can switch over to other schemes. Then in mutual fund, there are two options of investing, where, and Nagpal Sahab had also mentioned, the best way of investing in the mutual fund is through direct plan. Direct plan simply means there is nobody between you and AMC. You go to the AMC website, select the scheme, fill the required form online, and you are invested. Of course, for the first time investor, you have to complete eKYC. Now eKYC facility is also available. Earlier it was physically KYC was to be done. Just like when you open a bank account, KYC is to be done. Likewise in security market also, KYC is a precondition for investment. So you are invested. But when you are directly investing in under direct plan, more return will come to you. Why? Because the simple reason that there is no third person in between. But suppose you are not tax savvy, you are not able to invest directly, then other option is also there, that is called regular plan. In regular plan, you can take help of a mutual fund distributor. He will come to you, he will give you the details of the schemes, and selection and decision should be yours, not of agent. Kindly mind it. Because normally, typically what happens, agents will tell you schemes in which they are getting better commissions, higher commissions. So selection is yours. You understand with him the scheme, then you take a time and decide. So in regular plan, you are investing your savings through some agent, and when you are investing in such mode, definitely agent will charge some fee or some commission from you. That commission will be taken from you. So your return will be little bit lesser as compared to direct plan. So direct plan is the best plan. Now in mutual fund investment, you can invest through SIP. This is the most convenient plan for middle class person to generate or to have good corpus over a period of time. SIP simply means systematic investment plan. It is just a recurring account. When you go to the bank, open a recurring account, likewise this only. You open an account in mutual fund, some scheme, then start investing regularly on monthly basis. Amount you have decided, on which date this money you will invest every month, it is decided by you. Both things, and of course, scheme will decide. Once you decide and give mandate, it is in perpetuity. This amount will be deducted from your bank account on the date you have mentioned, and will kept invested, and you will get intimation. So SIP is the best mode where we middle class can generate or can have regional corpus over a period of time, 5, 10, 20 years. But apart from SIP, one time also you can invest. And there is a unique facility in mutual fund which is called SWP, Systematic Withdrawal Plan. What is this? Suppose you have developed a corpus of 2 crore, 3 crore over a period of 25, 30 years. Now you have retired. Some might be getting pension also, but pension might be grossly insufficient. Suppose your monthly expenses, and one more thing I wish to mention here, that suppose you are 30 years of age and your monthly expenses are 30,000 today. When you retire after 30 years, your monthly expenses will be 1.72 lakhs to live the life same level. Because of inflation, monthly expenses will also increase. So mind it, you will need 1.72 lakh after 30 years for the 30,000 in which you are managing your household expenses today. So suppose when you retire, you have got 3 crore corpus. And I again tell you, every normal middle class person, can have these crores of rupees corpus, provided they start investing right from the day when they start earning. And they continue religiously invest their money. And keep increasing saving, as I told you earlier. So in SWP, what typically happens, suppose you are retired now, there will be no regular income. You have got 3 crore corpus. You can simply give a direction to the mutual fund scheme manager that from next one onwards, please keep transferring me 2 lakh rupees per month in my bank account. What it will serve, what purpose it will serve? The foremost purpose it will be that you will have reasonable money to enjoy your life, retired life, even when you don't have even regular income. That is a must. First, 2 lakhs will be transferred to you religiously in your bank account on the day and date you have decided. So, and equally important is remaining amount is kept invested, which will take care of inflation. So SWP is a very good option, but what is the precondition? You have to have a good corpus at the time of retirement, which you can have after sustained regular investment. Now, there are two major types of mutual fund. One is equity fund, second is debt fund. In equity fund, your money is invested into the equities of the corporates. And kindly mind it, when your money is invested into the equity of the corporates, it entails higher risk because you become owner of that corporate. And once you become owner of the corporate, what typically happens? If the corporate performs exceedingly well, you will get very good return. Share price will go up. Return will be extraordinary. But if the company doesn't perform very well, you might not get good return. When the company doesn't generate any profit, you will get no return. And even extreme circumstances, when company goes into losses, you might suffer or might see reduction in your capital investment itself. So there is a risk, but there is a reward. Possibility of greater high return is there in equity funds. Other fund, and there are 3-4 sub-segments of that equity fund. I don't have time to go in detail into all these things. Large cap, mid cap, small cap, multi cap, flexi caps. These are all forms of equity caps where your money is invested into such funds. When you say that I don't want to take any risk, then other option is also available with you. That is called debt fund. What is debt fund? In debt fund, your savings will be given to the corporate as a loan. Simply as a loan. And when you appreciate when a loan is given, 2 things are pre-decided. Firstly, the rate of return. What will be rate of return? 8%, 9%, 6%, whatever it will be pre-decided. Then after which time it will be, your money will be returned back. So in debt fund, risk is lesser because your money is being given simply as a loan, and loan return can also be reasonable. There are lesser possibility of getting extraordinary return in debt fund, but then you can minimize your risk. You can manage your risk, and those who are 55 and above, and those who will cross this benchmark of 55, 90% of their investment should be in debt fund. If you have started with equity, okay, keep doing it up to 55, but when you reach 55, 56, start switching all your equity fund schemes into debt schemes, because now a stage has come of your age when you can't take any risk. The safety of the money has become most important. Earlier, earning return was more important. Here, safety of money is more important. So debt fund, risk is lesser. And in debt fund also, there are 4-5 categories. The first and foremost category is liquid fund or overnight fund, where your money is invested for one day, where your money is not invested, where your money is given as a loan for one day, one night. And this again in money market only. So in liquid fund, there is literally no risk because your money is not given to the corporates as a loan. It is given to the big financial institution as a temporary loan for one day, 1 week, likewise. I know a lot of my friends who are professionals, who are professional assistant professors. What they have started a practice, when they get salary, suppose you get 50,000 salary, you simply transfer that salary into liquid fund on the day you get it. And now that is possible through app. You once download the app, complete KYC. Once app is there, suppose on first you get 50,000, you simply transfer 50,000 in liquid fund. And even in distressed market, liquid funds are giving around 3.80 to 4% return. Earlier, they were giving around 5 to 5.5% return. And what is the benefit? Money is in your hand. Suppose on 5th you need 5,000 for some family expenses. You simply click, you put 5,000, click withdraw button, 5,000 will be credited to your bank account. You can take care of expenses, but the remaining 40,000 will be kept invested. Just a minute, just for a minute. So this money is handy for you. At the same time, you are getting higher return than your SB account. Now, suppose you have to pay an EMI after 3 months. Money which you will keep in SB account. Why you should keep in SB account? You invest your money in ultra short-term debt fund. It will give you around 4.5 to 5% return in very short period of 3 months. After 3 months, you can withdraw the money, pay the EMI, and you got higher return. So it is the best cash management for middle class person to have, to invest in liquid fund for shorter period. So liquid fund is there for very short period. Ultra short term debt fund are there for short duration fund. Then short duration fund, that mid duration fund, then large duration funds. All these all these funds are debt funds. All these funds are debt funds. Here the risk is lesser and you will be getting relatively higher return than your FD. And secondly, one more unique benefit is available. If you keep invested your money for more than 3 years in debt funds, again it is limited to debt fund only, you will be having the benefit of long-term capital gain, that is indexation benefit. And indexation benefit is very beneficial, but that will happen, that will be available to you in debt funds only after 3-year investment. So 3-year continuous investment. So you can invest your fund as per your risk appetite, as per your time horizon. And mutual fund schemes are there, which are for shorter period, which are for medium duration, which are for larger period. Mutual fund schemes are there which have lesser risk, relatively medium term risk or higher risk. So selection and decision is most important for you in finalizing mutual fund scheme. And mutual fund is a better product for middle class person to have corpus over a period of time. Now lastly, I wish to tell one thing, and I will request Professor Johar, this is all our social responsibility. I know you may not be investing your money, you may not be putting your money into Ponzi scheme, chit fund and committee like that thing. But kindly make it a point that nobody should invest in such fraud schemes. These are, I'm using the word, very blunt word, fraud schemes. They will promise you higher return. They will promise you doubling your money in very short period, which is impossible. They will simply run away with your money. They will simply vanish. And as a broad survey, 10 lakhs crores of rupees of gullible investors and in not so affluent class of citizens like maid servant, driver, peons, clerks, then small grocery shop keepers, electrician, plumber, they simply come under temptation for higher return, and they don't have knowledge about the financial market, all these things. They put their money and they lose their money, and how painful it is. It will be when a person loses it hard earned. You will appreciate a driver or a peon when he saves 10,000 rupees, how much time he will taken and how much essentiality or luxuries he or she has sacrificed. So kindly don't never make any investment in Ponzi scheme, chit fund and committee. And I will request Dr. Johar, kindly make a team of your students, spread them across the local area to make people aware, particularly not so affluent segment of society. Warn them never to invest their money in hard-earned money, because it will be very painful for them. Thank you very much. Again, I'm thankful to Professor Johar and his whole team for giving me time. I would I will like to have observation of Professor Johar if he wish to speak something on my session.
Madam, please.
Hello, Suryakant sir. Am I audible?
Yeah, please. Yeah, please. Yeah.
Sir, to speak up from the heart, your session has been really very fruitful. In fact, being teachers ourselves, many a times we do teach investment to the students, but we fail many a times to make up investments in a very fruitful manner. And in fact, the way you have expressed us to be caution, to understand, and then to invest, it's really been very impressive to listen to you. Without a pause, without even taking a breath, you have made an effort to very nicely explain to all of us. And I believe, like how I have understood, everybody else have understood. Whether it is the 4 important essentials of life that you told, or keeping some funds in our hands to make our needs end up in emergency, or the way we can have financial empowerment, how we should stop saving in savings account and rather very religiously start increasing our savings and invest in the mutual funds if you do not know the share market. All the tips that we are going to take from you are really going to be beneficial in the rest of our lives. Now I think the session is open for the question and answers. If any of the students have any queries to ask, or any teachers for that sake, it's not alone for the students or the scholars to put a question. Any one of us, if you have any question to ask relating to what Suryakant sir has just now spoken about the financial literacy, I think the session is open now.
Dear sir, so good afternoon.
Sushma madam is also here now. If she can speak something, because last time she couldn't, because of some technical problem, she couldn't speak. Again, there is some
Sushma
problem.
madam.
Dr. Sushma, are you there?
She is there, but she has got some technical problem with his voice. I don't know.
Sir, in fact, till Sushma comes, I have one question to ask.
Yeah, please, please.
Sir, we do have this pension funds, which are now open from many banks, especially the nationalized banks. Sir, how advisable it is for us to invest in such type of funds?
Yes, very good question, ma'am. Actually, you will appreciate now there is governmental pension is no more available to the employees or who joined after 2004. It is also applicable to state government as well. Alternatively, government has given a new scheme, but that is open to all citizens. Earlier, it was confined to central government employees only. Then it was extended to state government employees. But now it is open to all citizens of India. Firstly, National Pension Scheme is a very good scheme, and everybody should subscribe to it. Firstly, this is my answer. Because since pension will not be there, how you will survive after retirement? Firstly. Secondly, you will not only survive, everybody wishes to know, enjoy life even after retirement. But for that, huge amount will be required, return on which you can survive. So from where those return corpus will come. So National Pension Scheme is a very good scheme. I don't know about the which because there are some schemes banks are marketing because of, but these are not pension national scheme. I am confined to national pension NPS only. If you are subscribing to NPS, it is a very good scheme, but there are some insurance companies also will give you some pension plans. I'm not talking of those plans. I am confined myself to national pension scheme NPS. Everybody should confine NPS. Early you subscribe, better you start investing. Higher you invest, higher will be the corpus you will be developing. Broadly, what will happen, whatever corpus you have at the time of retirement, there will be 2 segments of it. 60% of that, suppose you have corpus of 1 crore rupees at the time of retirement in NPS. 60% of that will be given to you lump sum. Earlier it was taxable, now it is no more taxable as per latest budget announcement. So 60 lakhs you will get for taking care of your major liability if it is there. Or you can put it in FD, whatever you want with that money. On 40%, that corpus, pension will be given to you, but minus point of that is that pension will be fixed throughout your life. Suppose you get 30,000. For whole life, you will get 30. See the minus point of this a new pension scheme. Because earlier, those who were officers or employees before 2004, every 6 months they are getting increased through DA and all these things. Here, but here the pension will be fixed, and again 2-3 options will be given to you. One option will be whether you want to pension for yourself or only, and pension amount will be higher. Suppose you say, no, after my death, my spouse should also get pension, then relatively pension will be lesser. Third option is also available. You say, no, pension will be given, should be given to me, after that to my spouse, and lastly, the amount should be returned back to my heirs. In that scenario, pension amount will be much lesser. So all these options are available with you. National pension scheme is a very good scheme, and you might not be knowing, last 3 years, it has generated around 9 to 11% return. It is a very good return. That is tax-free.
Thank you so much, sir, for your answer. I think Sushma now can speak.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Finally. Okay. Sir, thank you so much, sir, for sharing your experiences. One doubt what I was just pointing out. Yes. You had shared that there are 4 things that we have to invest in, no matter what is our scale or what is our salary. So please unmute yourself.
Am I told you it is not investment. It will not be your investment. But these are essentials.
Essentials.
Okay. You may not get return on it, but at the same time, every individual should have these.
Fine, sir. Thanks for that clarification. Sir, I was wondering, as you have given example of a person who is earning, say, let's say 50,000 salary per month and spending 40,000 around on the daily expenses. Insurance is a must, and healthcare insurance, emergency fund, accidental insurance. What should be the ratio kind of thing or proportion in which we can go ahead with all these things? Because investing in all these things, we again will scatter our amount. So how to make a sensible decision on that?
That's why I have mentioned early premium will be less. First 2-3 years, of course, you are not of that in that bracket. This is practically possible for those who start earning. That is why I address students. But for you also, if you have not taken insurance, kindly take it. Premium. I don't want to know your age. It will be very
no issues, sir. No issues.
But what is important is early you take, lesser will be the premium. Because if you start thinking of taking insurance at 50 or 45 years, paying payment of premium will be impossible for you. Very huge premium. That is why I ask the students that kindly note down these 4 things you do as early, like health insurance again. Early you take, premium will be less. Because if you think taking insurance at the age of 40, you might not afford the premium even.
Yeah, that's the challenge, because we all are falling at the age group of 40. So what would be advisable?
Better you take some health insurance cover. Better you take health insurance. If you don't if you have not taken any life insurance cover, then take some 5 to 20 lakhs life insurance. Term insurance. Term insurance is the cheapest one. Earlier there used to be money endowment, and money back and endowment were sold as an investment product. But honestly, it is not. Investment across the world has not generated more than 5% return. Across the world, it can't generate. But term insurance is very cheap. A person of the age of 5 to 30 years can have a term insurance cover of 1 crore rupees at a monthly cover of Of course, in your increases. That is why I'm focusing more on students. So they should note down. And for you also, take some reasonable life insurance cover, term insurance, to explore those things.
Only thing I can say is I'm sorry that we couldn't meet you 10 years before. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Any other question, ma'am?
Do anybody have any queries, sir? There are a few questions coming up on the messages, I believe.
Please.
I think the host, sir, can you please speak out one or two questions for sir to answer?
Shall I read out the question, sir?
Please, ma'am.
What I can see the recent one?
Yeah.
There's one question from Mohammed Jahangir. How COVID-19 has impacted the financial services sector?
Greatly. Of course. For COVID has
Sushma,
changed our life.
can you mute yourself? The voice is echoing, I believe.
Not from my end.
Okay,
I have muted myself.
No issue. COVID has changed our life as such. You will all appreciate. Our thinking, our lifestyle, everything has changed. So the financial sector as well. But I tell you one more thing that is relevant for all of you, including you, ma'am. Whatever your age is, suppose our Prime Minister is promising us that there will be $5 trillion economy after 5 years down the line. Who will get benefit of that $5 trillion economy? Only those who are invested, who have invested. Otherwise, suppose you have invested in PPF or in governmental scheme, no benefit. The benefit will accrue to the persons who have invested their money in unconventional products like security market, like mutual fund. Because market will go up. Definitely when the economy will be $5 trillion from the present level of $2.5 trillion, it will literally double. So what is expected? Market will touch 1 lakh crore. So who will be benefited? Those who have started investing, those who will continue investing. So kindly be a regular investor and not in unconventional. Some portion should go into unconventional products as well. This is my experience I am telling you.
Sir, can you hear me?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So there's one more question. Of course, the name of the person is not there. It says from Galaxy on 7 Pro. I don't know who it is. But the question is, sir, can we invest in mutual funds of other countries? What's the method or modalities?
Yes. I have told you there are schemes in mutual fund which will invest your money into overseas corporates like Google, Amazon, like that thing. So there are schemes in the mutual fund itself. You explore those schemes. There are schemes of most of the AMCs. If you have flair of investing or having a part in the growth story of Google or Amazon or big corporates, there are schemes in the mutual fund you can.
Sir, thank you, sir. There's one more request. Sir, please throw light specifically on importance of mid-cap mutual funds.
A mid-cap mutual fund means your money will be invested into the mid-size corporate. Actually, I didn't want to make it a technical session. Mid-cap corporates are corporates whose market capitalization is between 5,000 crore to 15,000 crores. So 5,000 crore to 20,000 crores. Large cap is beyond 20,000 crores. Small cap is below 5,000 crores. These are honestly technical things. I intentionally avoided those things. Mid cap simply means corporates which are not bigger or not small. They have got potential to be big, because you will appreciate whatever large corporates are today, TCS, Infosys, or a lot of other names. They were, when they started, they were very small. So I give you one more example. A person who had invested 10,000 rupees in Infosys in 1995 when their first IPO came. Again, I repeat, 1995 investment of 10,000 rupees in Infosys. What is the value today? 28 lakhs. But only to those who invested 10,000 rupees in 1995 and kept their investment intact. They didn't withdraw the money. That is why I mentioned rule of compounding. Rule of compounding is important. So your money will grow with the passage of time. Over a period of time, you should have patience. And if you see that there has been no return or not reasonable return, you can withdraw your money from that corporate, invest in some other company or some mutual fund scheme. So for middle class person, the key is to a regular investment, a regular investor for longer period.
Thank you, sir. That question was from Ruda. There's one more question from Ajay Patankar. Sir, what are the parameters which ensures that a specific scheme is beneficial for us? Please suggest any sources for getting information about it.
Yeah, very good question. I think he or she is very keen to invest. There are now.
It's from Ajay Patankar.
No problem. There are now multiple sources available. Ma'am, you will appreciate, we are living in Google era now. Everything is available on your hand, on your key mouse. There are on AMFI websites, analysis of mutual fund schemes are available. On SEBI website, lot of details are available. There is one private research firm, I should not mention it, rather two, Money Control and Value Research. There are two private research, these entities are there, on whose website you can have lot of information. Past performance, historical performance, relative performance, sector performance, corporate performance, everything you can have. So now it is a time. Prime Data is again a private entity which analyzes results of corporates. So there are a lot of options available now. Only thing is you should be attentive. Only thing is you should be more keen to go into these things.
Thank you, sir. So there's one more question from Abhishek Kumar. Sir, how to minimize the risk of market during investment in stock market or mutual fund?
Absolutely, you're right. Minimizing risk is again a mental state of affair. If you are of 25, 30 years, why you are thinking about minimizing risk? You should think minimize the risks when you cross 50. Up to 45, I feel as a personally, and even I have all my children, 100% they are equity investors. Don't think about investing money. Don't think about risk when you are young. Think about risk when you start invest, when you cross 40 or 45 age bracket. Then you should, of course, you should divide your 50% in equity, 70% equity, 30% in debt. After 55, it should be 90% in equity and 10% in debt. Again, for risk minimizing, I have given you a very simple formula. Think, understand, and invest. See your risk appetite, see your time horizon, see the product where you are investing. This you can do.
Thank you so much, sir. I think due to paucity of time, we'll take a last question. Sir, there is one question from Maria Thomas. Can you give a brief idea of the investment basket for a salaried employee of age 25 having an annual income of 7 lakhs?
Great. Now I give you a broad idea. First, have a PPF account. Note it down, my dear. If you are here, start a PPF account and contribute as much because 1.50 is the maximum limit, but you should reasonably invest that PPF account, did it for 15 years. Then you should start 2 to 3 SIPs, 2 or 3 SIPs of 5,000 or 3,000 per SIP. That should have longer horizon, maybe 10 years. Because I again repeat, for your horizon for less than 5 years, you should invest in debt schemes. If you are, suppose, even for, madam, I'm addressing to you, your daughter is around with you now. She's very late. After 20 years, you might need her higher education. You have got a horizon of 20 years. You should start a SIP of 5 to 10,000 per month in her name in equity fund, very good equity fund. And then continue investing that money. I assure you, I might not be there at that time, but you will remember me. After 20 years, that will be a very big corpus. That will take not only of her higher studies, but also of her marriage. So you should have target-oriented investment. You should have target. That will be a more fruitful investment.
Thank you so much, sir. On my personal behalf and behalf of Department of Business Studies and Central Institute of Karnataka, I thank you wholeheartedly for questioning. Apologies to those whose answers were not questioned. Anyway, you can contact sir and get your doubts clarified.
What I request,
yes,
you send the questions to Mr. Sabjar. He will send me across, and I will send him the answer.
Sir, actually, there are various WhatsApp groups. The participants are requested to send their questions on the WhatsApp group, and those questions will be forwarded to you. Then you can answer to those questions.
Definitely. Dr. Johar, you were not there at that time. I want your observation also about the session.
Oh, wonderful, sir. My first remark is wonderful. And I was seeing the remarks from the participants also. They are very happy and they appreciate wholeheartedly to the information what you shared here. Really, you made what people think that this is rocket science, but you made investment science very easy.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir, once again. Now I request Dr. Ganapati to give away the vote of thanks.
Once again, good afternoon to all. Respected Vice Chancellors. Am I audible, madam?
Yes, sir. You are audible,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, respected the Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, and Registrar, Dean, madam, and respected resource persons. So, really, today it was very thought-provoking and very useful session we had. So, first, I thank our both the resource persons, Nagpal sir, the Executive Director, SEBI, and another resource person, Suryakant Sharma sir from MP. Sir, as Joyer sir said, okay, there are no words to thank you, but wonderful. Okay, really, you have enlightened all of us, and we look forward to have more sessions like this in future. And I also thank our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor M.E. Alagwadi, for the support and guidance, and our Registrar, Professor Basuraj P. Donur, sir, and our Dean, Madam, Professor Pushpa M. Saudatti, and special thanks to Dr. Joyer, sir, who has taken initiation to have this webinar, and he has put a lot of effort to organize this. So I thank Dr. Joyer, sir, the coordinator of the Department of Business Studies. And I also thank Safia Parveen, madam, and anchoring program, coordinating program, and Dr. Sushma, madam, handling question answer session, okay, very effectively. And I thank all the participants, okay, so who were so keenly and eagerly participated, okay. When Joyer sir said for 50 minutes, I thought by 1 o'clock it will over, but it is 1:37 now. So still there are a lot of questions and people have a lot of interest. Okay, so really it shows how fruitful and effective this webinar was. Okay, so we look forward such more webinars. And once again, big thanks to all the resource persons and our coordinator, Dr. Mohammad Jair. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, Ganapati sir. That was a good
Over to
vote
you,
of
madam.
thanks. Yeah, thank you.
Ma'am,
Suryakant sir, we
ma'am,
wish you a long life, good health, so that you keep on enlightening all the youngsters, whoever are there in the future generations as well. And thank you very much for this very fruitful session.
Thank you, ma'am.
We look forward to get back to you once again.
Ma'am, on my behalf, on behalf of AMFI, I am very thankful to your Vice Chancellor, your Registrar, respected Nagpal Sahab, and your core team members who have taken pain to organize this program. I would be very happy to be with you physically once the pandemic goes. And
Sir, that's what I wanted to say. Once this pandemic ends, it will be really a welcoming gesture for all of us to be to welcome you at our campus. Thank you once again, sir.
I will be more than happy. And of course, special credit goes to Mr. Sabjar for coordinating and connecting all the notes of this program. Thank you very much. And again, wholeheartedly thankful to whole your team, Mr. Johar and all your active members of your core team. I will be very happy.
Really, sir. Our team is always taking the task and doing it to the perfection.
So last thing I want to tell you, which
sir.
I tell at the last stage.
Yes, sir.
We have got Indians have got a habit. We are all of them we all included. We talk too much, we listen too much, but we don't execute things. I will like participants.
Yes,
if they have found anything useful, anything informative, anything new idea, kindly explore and start practicing those ideas in their own life, because it will be beneficial to them. Thank you very much.
I hope it motivated so many people who are participating in this program.
Thank you.
And really, it will convert into the actual investment over a period of time.
Suryakant sir, before I end, one last thing from me. Like just now what you said, the habits of we Indians, sabki sun aur apni kar. The words what you have just now shared with us, aapki baat, apni baat ho gayi. So I think every one of us should be investing, or rather say should be planning our investments very carefully. Thank you once again, sir.
And of course, financial planning, that is equally important. We should have financial plan.
Hopefully every one of us will get into financial planning, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. God bless you all. Thank you very much.
Thank